Your mindset is the root of your reality. If you can change your mindset, then you can change your life. Welcome, Master Your Vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. The mindset reboot for those ready for some calibration to their vibration. I'm your host, King Yes Indeed, your guide for this vibrational journey, here to help you conquer any mental blocks, fine-tune your inner frequency, and navigate to your higher self. If you're ready to make your mind bright so you can vibe right, then you're in the right place. Let the journey begin. Yes, indeed. All right, welcome back. Welcome back once again. And thank you for joining me on today's episode of Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset. And today, people, we are going to be talking about something that's near and dear to me, and that is peace of mind. And we're going to be talking about how to build your peace palace. Just for a little bit of backstory, I just turned 49 2 days ago. By the time this episode airs, it'll be 2 days ago. I turned 49, and peace is something that's been huge to me for many years, but I've really been focusing in on it for about the last 5 or 6 years and being intentional about creating and building a place for peace. And so that's what I'm going to talk about with you all today. And so I think most of us want peace, or at least be peaceful, but most of the time we are instead taught how to just endure things, and being able to endure things is fine for at times, but not always. We don't always need to endure, and so we are seldomly taught how to be calm in the face of trouble, how to be calm in the face of danger or stress, how to deal with worry, and how to fend off fear. Right? Many times, we just wait for peace to come back after trouble leaves, after stress fades away, after the danger is gone, or after you stop worrying about things. We just think peace is supposed to naturally come back, and it doesn't always happen like that, right? And even when these things are gone, um, do things really ever truly calm down long enough, to even, for us to even take a deep breath? Usually something or someone else enters, and the calm you were desperately waiting for and searching for and looking for, it exits quickly. Stage left, it's gone. So when this happens over a long period of time, or for a sustained amount of time, trouble then seems normal to you. Stress becomes your new normal. Danger seems like it's something that you're supposed to be dealing with. Worry doesn't feel like something out of the ordinary, and fear feels like something that you should be dealing with every day. Now, what's the issue with this? There's a saying in sports, which is, you play how you practice. And in life, the same principles apply. If you want peace, you have to learn to practice peace. My brother Rico has a song that says, peace of mind, peace is made, you can't find it, right? Peace is not something that you need to go looking for. Peace is not lost where it needs to be found, right? Peace needs to be cultivated. Peace needs to be developed, and it needs to be built like a house, right? Where the foundation, it needs structural support, and it needs a covering. All right. And so what we are going to talk about today is, how to build your peace palace. And the peace palace is built with an intended purpose. All right. So we are going to sit with ourselves today. We are going to go inside and see what is keeping us from experiencing the peace that we want, the peace that we need, and definitely the peace that we deserve. So, in this episode, I'm going to help you figure out which tools you need to have in your mindset tool bag to build your own personal peace palace. And this is a place that will last because it has everything to do with you and not your circumstances. Yes, indeed. All right. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. We're just going to get right started. Who or what is stealing your peace or taking your peace? All right. And before we talk about practicing and protecting peace, right, we have to be honest about something that is probably most uncomfortable for many of us. We need to talk about ourselves, or we need to ask ourselves an honest question. Who or what is taking our peace? Right now, I know what the title says, but I'm going to be real. Not all peace is stolen. All right. Sometimes we are giving it away for free. Yes. Sometimes we are giving it up completely for free. We can be giving it to certain people. We can be giving it to stress. We can be giving it to some of the habits, bad habits that we have, or even to certain expectations that we have normalized that we shouldn't, right? Let me walk through a couple of these examples of what I'm talking about. All right. Number one, giving our peace up to other people's extensions. All right. And again, sometimes we just give this away, right? The pressure of being available when others say so. All right. If somebody's calling, you feel pressure to show up. Somebody needs a favor, you feel pressure to show up. Somebody's in need of something, you feel pressure to show up. I talked about this in the last episode. Someone else's problem is not your emergency. All right. Um, the need to be liked by others, or the need to be respected by others, and this is plaguing my daughter here. Younger children, they have friends, they have peers, and in normal settings, yes, of course, you want to be liked. But I think as we get older, we understand not everyone's gonna like you, and it could be for absolutely no reason at all. And so you just learn to deal with the fact of, if they don't like you, you just keep on doing what you're doing. I think adults kind of deal with the fact of respect, like especially in certain fields, in certain practices, in certain professions. We definitely want to be respected, and so when we seem to not be respected for lack of for no reason whatsoever, that sort of bothers us, and we may go out of our way to do certain things to kind of gain that respect, with the understanding that there's nothing we can do in order to gain respect of everyone. All right. The need to be who society dictates we should be. All right. That can be a whole lot of different things, like just being a career person, right? Working a job, working it for 25, 35, 40 years, retiring, um, just doing certain things where society says you should do this. Some people, society dictates that many women should be housewives, right? And they shouldn't work. I know I think that norm has been shattered, and we have a whole lot of career women, single women that are chasing their dreams and all that. And that's great, but some people feel the demand of society putting a certain calling or title on them. Another way that we can lose our peace is by the need to control certain outcomes. Peace often disappears when we believe everything must be a certain way. Right? This could come in the form of many things. One, I think, is the tendency to overthink things, trying to think of every single scenario, or thinking too critically of it, or this person's going to think this, or this person's going to think that, or um, did I do it right? Are these people going to like it? Like overthinking every possible thing. And it's typically like a negative scenario, right? Like every negative scenario, every negative outcome that could possibly exist in the world, you are thinking of that instead of thinking of the positive outcomes of whatever circumstance you're dealing with. Right? You can also do it in the form of micromanaging, trying to manage every little detail of every little thing, of every little project, of every single minute of the day. And that's just not realistic. So, some things are just going to have to be left up to chance, or it's just going to have to be good enough for what you are doing. Replaying or trying to dictate certain conversations. All right. So if you've had a conversation with someone and it was just normal, like you continually replay it to try to extract every possible alternate outcome or ending, like a special movie where a movie has a whole bunch of different endings. You keep replaying this conversation and say, did they mean this? Or did they mean that? Or could it mean this? Or they had some inflection in their voice and maybe they said that. Or, you know what? In this instance, they used this word right here. But if they would have used this word back here, it would have meant something different, right? Or, I was replaying the conversations or trying to have the conversation before you talk to the person. Well, if they say this, then I'm gonna say this, and then if say they that, then if they say this, then I'm gonna say that, and then if they say this, then I'm gonna say that. Like God, we gotta get out of that loop. That is stressful. That is worrisome. Just go have your conversation, or take the conversation at face value. Right, and then also living in the what if, where you constantly say, "What if I was wrong? What if I'm not good enough? What if they don't like me? What if I don't get chosen? What if I don't get promoted? What if, what if, what if?" You can do that all day long. You can do that all day long, but the scenario is not going to be played out until you actually walk through it. Number three, and this is a huge one, unresolved emotions play a huge part in stealing our peace. We're talking about suppressed anger from Lord knows when. I mean, it could be from when you were a child. It could be in past relationships. It could be in past employment. It can be past friends. Um, it can be past decisions that you've made. It can be things that have happened to you. That suppressed anger, whatever you're angry at, if you don't deal with that, if you don't get it out, or if you don't let it go, that can be a huge, huge detriment to the peace that you are trying to build. Also, unexpressed grief, right? If you've lost someone, or if you lost something, or if something traumatic has happened to you, again, we got to deal with these internal things: our physical health, our mental health, our emotional well-being, our spiritual well-being. Right? If you believe in a higher power, if you haven't addressed some of the things within your spiritual life, um, that can cause your peace to either be distant or not be as strong as it needs to be, or not be as present as it needs to be. Ignored fears and anxiety, right? Things that you are afraid of, that you don't have a way to deal with in a healthy way. They can create some anxiety for you. So we got to find a good outlet. Um, go to therapy. Talk to your family members. Find a positive, meaningful outlet to deal with and address all of these things: your anger, your grief, your fear, your emotions, your doubts, your questions. Find a way. Go find somebody to talk to. I have a group of brothers who I talk to, and we try to meet once a month. And there are a lot of things that we talk about. There are a lot of things that come up, and we usually sit for about 3 or 4 hours. And there are a lot of things that come up. So if you don't have that, go find you something. All right. Constant stimulation. And I talked about this a couple shows before. Constant stimulation can be can have a negative impact on your peace. All right. Noise steals peace quietly. Right. Noise. You gotta, and then and it's not just sound noise. right? But it is what you internalize as far as your input, what you're inputting into your eyes and your ears, noise. So, I talked about that doom scrolling or death scrolling, where you're just scrolling and looking at that light on your phone. That light on your phone is a huge detriment. It's a distraction to you. It can take away your peace. If you are constantly consuming some form of news, whatever outlet you watch, whether it's right wing, left wing, whether it's in the middle, whether it's sports news, all these news outlets have their own agenda, they have their own angle. Right. So you got to understand that somebody's feeding you what they want you, how they want you to feel. And so that's what they're going to cater that news to. On your phone. Again, we have constant alerts, constant ringing, constant vibrating, constant phone calls, constant alerts, constant updates. Just every app on your phone has a different sound or a different alert to let you know that it demands your attention. Okay, and so we gotta find a way to get rid or get out of some of this constant stimulation. And then also perpetual urgency, right? Everything these days seems to be priority number one to everybody. I talked a lot about meetings that we're supposed to have. But if it's not a meeting, it's somebody needs you to call them right now. Somebody wants you to respond right now, right? Everyone is demanding of all of the time that you don't have. Right. And if you can't get back to them, they put even more urgency on it. So constant stimulation can definitely steal your peace. And so after all of that, we got to talk about how do we how do we build a peace palace, right? And we got to talk about some practical ways that we can build or develop this peace with us. And the first thing I like to talk about is we got to become aware, right? And usually the first thing that we usually do is we gotta recognize some things, right? We gotta know what causes us stress and what happens when tension hits us, right? What do we do? What's currently going on that makes us feel stressed, or react the way that we do, right? So if you're stressed out, if your shoulders are tensed up, if your muscles are aching, if you gritting your teeth, my eyebrows frown up real good, what are we experiencing that causes us to do those things, right? Is it a person? Is it a place? Did we smell something? Did we hear a certain sound? Are we watching certain types of TV shows? Are we listening to certain types of music? Now we got to try to pick what the trigger is. Okay. And then once we find that, uh, then we should be aware of how we are feeling or what we are thinking, right? Are we sad? Are we happy? Are we nervous? Are we angry? Are we confused? Are we bitter? Right? Are we emotionally tapped out? Are we physically drained? What are we thinking about? Are we thinking about work? Are we thinking about family? Are we thinking about bills? Is our health in trouble? Is our bank account a little lower than we would like? What problems are we facing? Are we having relationship issues? Any of these things. Once we're aware of what we feel, of when we feel tension and stress, okay, and then once we are aware of what we're thinking and feeling, right, then we can try to figure out. And once we notice the triggers, then we can try to figure out, what are the things that we don't allow, that don't allow us to focus on building peace, and that's how we kind of narrow it down. Once we figure out uh, what the tension is and what the stress is, once we figure out what we're thinking, once we figure out what we're feeling, take all of that information, narrow it down, and that is the thing or things, it probably should be just a few of them that are keeping, hopefully it's just a few of them that are keeping us away from our peace. Number two, we got to set clear boundaries without guilt. Right, I talked about this before. We got to stop overcommitting. We got to stop saying yes when every single fiber of your being is telling you that you need to say no. Understand what your capacity is. Stop trying to live up to someone else's ability to handle certain circumstances. You are not them. You are you. I was listening to something on social media, and they were talking about how people sometimes try to put on this cape and try to be Superman. But the one thing the gentleman was talking about, he was like, if we're gonna compare ourselves to Superman, um, Superman was Clark Kent's real identity, right? He was superhuman. He was not a mere mortal, right? He was actually super strong and could do all of these things, right? And he was pretending not to be as strong as he was, right? We are not built to be Superman. So sometimes what we need to do is walk in our own normal mortalism, so to speak, because we aren't meant to be superhuman. So we need to stop trying to be Superman. Stop trying to save everyone from everything, that's happening to them, and really try to save ourselves. Right? That's where sometimes we need to focus a little more. All right. Remember, I talked about this before. Your boundaries are not for you. Your boundaries, they are for other people to understand how to treat you. Right? Boundaries are actually a form of self-respect that you cannot afford to pass on. I'm going to say that one more time. Boundaries are actually a form of self-respect that you cannot afford to pass on. So you have to set them. All right. If the cost of access to you at all times is your peace, then the price is too expensive. The price is too expensive. If the cost of people having access to you at all times is your peace, then the price is far too expensive, and you need to take that off the market immediately. Number three, stop trying to control everything. All right, you cannot control every aspect of your life, and then I talked about this just a little bit ago. Trying to micromanage every detail of life is impossible. Sometimes some of the most valuable moments, right? Some of the most memorable moments, some of the most unforgettable moments are those that fall outside of the script. They fall outside of the plan. Spontaneity, spur of the moment stuff. That's the stuff that many memories are made from. Remember, you can't control people's feelings towards you. You can't control what they say. You can't control what they do, right? You can't do any of that. So we talked about some of these things before. Stop replaying these conversations in your head before you have them. Stop trying to have the conversation, difficult conversation with the person before you go have it. Just free your mind, go in peace, go have the conversation. It's going to be what it's going to be, and then you move on. All right. Most of the time, what you will find is that no matter what scenario you play, no matter how many times you played it, it never ever ends up the way that you worked it out. The scenario never happens. It's always something either a lot different or a little bit different, but it's never how you planned it. All right. You can't control if you're going to be accepted by certain people. Somebody doesn't want you there, leave. If remember, you can't control the weather, but what you can do is check the temperature and dress accordingly, or you can check the weather and dress accordingly. All right. So in other words, if somebody's being cold, right, then you go somewhere where it's warm. Right. If people don't welcome you, right, then cancel your trip to that destination and go somewhere else. Right. If somebody's trying to rain on your parade, one of the best things you can do is shine like the sun to create a rainbow, right, in their presence. Like that's some of the best stuff that you can do, right? Because we can't control what they do, what they say, how they feel, how they're gonna act, no matter what we do. So sometimes the best thing you can do is, again, if they cold, go somewhere where it's warm. If they don't want you there, cancel your trip, cancel that destination on your map. And if they trying to rain on your parade, brothers and sisters, the best thing that you can do is shine bright. And the only thing that you're going to see is a rainbow in their presence. All right. I need you to do that for me. All right. And then finally, needing certainty before moving forward, right? Needing, uh, uh, I guess it might even be called closure, right? Before moving on, right? I am not a person that needs closure, right? If something ends and I'm just gonna be like, well, that's the way it's supposed to be, and I'm gonna move on. I might ask my question, but if a person denies me um, the ability to speak to them, if a person denies me the answers that I'm looking for, if a person doesn't want to talk to me, if a person decides that they are done with me, so be it. I don't. If I don't understand why, I'm okay with that. Trust me, I'm just gonna live in that moment. But if you are not, if you are one that needs to understand why the relationship ended, if you need to understand why the person did you wrong, if you need to understand why the business failed, if you need to understand why you were cheated on, if you need to understand those things and you don't get it, that's something that you're going to struggle with. So you need to learn to move forward with some of those things. All right. The next one is we need to learn to curate our environment. Um, what you remember, what you put into your mind and your soul and your spirit can write the narrative. Um, and that's whether you agree or not, it can write your narrative, right? News, I talked about this earlier in this show, right? News is information, but please understand who's controlling the news. All right, social media, right? Social media is the same thing. There are certain things that are put out there. If you're watching, all these ICE raids and people being killed, if you're watching people expose their cheating pastor or their church, I know. And my wife likes to love that. That Dawson Speaks, boys, you got it. Right? If you're listening to people talk about, their ex partners and how bad they are, how they don't do all of these things, right? I get it. I get it. It's there, but that stuff has a certain type of energy that comes along with it. And we got to be very careful about consuming that and what it's doing to us. All right. This type of intense and aggressive content, um it can't that and peace can't dwell in the same place, right? Peace can't dwell in the same place as chaos. Is just not it, right? So all of those things, if chaos was a tree, many of those things I just ran through, that's the fruit the tree would bear. It would bear ice raids and people being killed and people being murdered. It would bear cheating pastors and gay pastors and all this other stuff. It would bear, people talking about their exes and bashing them and stealing from them or calling all these things. It would bear that type of fruit. So let's be mindful of some of the stuff that we are consuming. And then the final thing that you can do to help build this peace palace is we gotta be still. We can be still, and we need to treat ourselves with some compassion. Remember, peace needs a space to land. All right. Sometimes the noise of the day is enough to push peace away. Right. If the body cannot find a quiet place to dwell, how do you expect your mind to find a quiet place to dwell? Right. If you're constantly surrounded by noise and traffic and work and TV and music and animals and kids and all these other things, how do you expect your mind to find a quiet place if you physically cannot find one? It's almost impossible. So see if you can find you a place out in nature. Again, I told you guys I got an RV I can go into, and it's just perfect for me. Slow things down, right? You got to slow things down. Always being on the go, always moving or doing something. It only makes you tired, physically and mentally, right? When you slow down, when your body slows down, then your mind can slow down. So you need to find a way to rest or slow down without any stimulation, right? No phone, no TV. Again, no people around if you can help it. No pets. Like you guys are my cat in the background. They running around because they hungry, right? Just you sitting with you, right? And again, it could be in nature. It doesn't have to be total silence, but you really don't want to have any sort of outside distraction. You just want to be able to kind of sit and either enjoy what's in front of you: trees, nature, birds, water, wind, or you just want to be able to just endure the silence so your mind can go to some, or so you can think about some peaceful place. All right. And then self criticism. Self criticism is okay, right? We got to learn a different way to talk to ourselves. That's why I say we got to be compassionate. We got some compassion for ourselves. Self criticism is okay. Self deprecation is not. All right. You can search for improvement without sabotaging your identity. Right. You can be hard on yourself, but remember to also be patient with yourself. Remember to also be gracious with yourself. Remember to be understanding with yourself. All right. Remember to be tolerant with yourself. I'm not saying take the easy way out. No, no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is don't be so hard on yourself that it ruins your identity and does not allow you to foster and build a place where peace can live. There is no peace in a place, especially in your mind, that is constantly attacking itself. There is no peace in a mind that is constantly attacking itself. People, as always, I want to leave you with some reflection prompts and some affirmations before we get to our final thought for today. Reflection prompt number one: when was the last time I felt truly at peace, and what made that possible? All right, and I hope this is not too difficult for you. If it is, it means that you might have a lot of work to do. All right, when was the last time I felt truly at peace, and what made that possible? You might be able to remember when you were at peace, and you got to really try and figure out what made it possible and focus on that. And whatever that is, if you can recreate it, then fine, let's do that. When was the last time I felt truly at peace, and what made that possible? Reflection prompt number two: who or what do I give emotional access to that does not deserve it? I said it. I said it. They don't deserve it. You know they don't deserve it. They know they don't deserve it. All right. Who or what do you give emotional access to that does not deserve it? I don't even really have much to say about this, because I know, if this is you, you are hopefully talking to yourself and being gracious and being patient, right, and being understanding, because you give emotional access to those, to that don't deserve it. Who or what do I give emotional access to that does not deserve it? Yes, indeed. And finally, reflection prompt number three: what do I say no to, or excuse me, what would I say no to if my peace mattered more than approval? I'm just sitting with these. These are killing me. Like, these are for me, right? These are for me. What would I say no to if my peace mattered more than approval? So if you value approval, if you are one who seeks approval, or needs approval, or desires approval, or thrives on approval, this is probably you, where you are sacrificing your peace. You are saying yes to things you should say no to. You are committing to things that you should not commit to. You are giving things that you are not able to give. You are allowing things that you should never allow. What would I say no to if my peace mattered more than approval? Yes, indeed. Next, Kings, let's get into some affirmations. And affirmation number one: I can be present without being overwhelmed. This is good. It does a couple of things. It lets you know that you are in the moment, but it lets you know that that moment is not too big. right? I can be present without being overwhelmed. And sometimes that just comes with preparation, right? You might understand that the situation that you're going into may be stressful, may be chaotic, it might be difficult, but you can be present without being overwhelmed. Affirmation number 2, I do not owe chaos my attention. You are not in debt to chaos. You did not take a loan out on chaos. You do not owe chaos your attention. Don't owe it anything. I do not owe chaos my attention. One more time, Kings. I do not owe chaos my attention. So don't give it. And finally, affirmation number 3, I do not need to punish myself in order to feel like I've earned peace. That's that self-deprecating part, people, if you didn't catch that one. Right? Sometimes we feel like we got to put ourselves through some things. We feel like we got to, uh, damage ourselves before we earn something. Right? That's not the case. Right? I do not need to punish myself in order to feel like I've earned peace. You deserve peace at all times. You deserve peace whenever you feel like it. You deserve peace right now. You deserve peace tomorrow. You deserved it yesterday. All right. You do not have to punish yourself. All right. I do not need to punish myself in order to feel like I've earned peace. Kings, my final thought for today is this: your peace is your power. It is not loud power. It's not inconsistent power. It's quiet and it is steady. It's the strength to remain grounded when life feels disastrous. It's the courage to be still and pause when chaos begs you to react immediately. It is also the wisdom to understand and protect the sacred space that dwells within you. Peace is not weakness. Peace is actually mastery. And each time that you choose to be calm, each time that you choose to be still, each time that you choose to set boundaries, each time that you choose to let go of some things, each time that you choose you, then you are investing in the best possible stock on the market. Your own personal peace. Remember, in sports, I said this earlier. I said the way we play. I said we play how we practice. All right. Remember, in sports, I said we play how we practice. Well, in life, we also live how we practice. So what I need you to do is I need you to keep practicing and keep choosing you. All right. You have nothing to lose except your peace. Yes, indeed. Kings, as always, thank you for joining me on this episode of Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset, where we talked about building your peace palace. And as always, Kings, I need you to do one thing for me. I need you to check your vibe, because when your mind is bright, then we can vibe right. Yes. People, if this podcast has shifted your mindset or moved you to change your vibe, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, or someone that you believe can vibe in a new way. Leave me a review, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at KingYesIndeed. Also, if you are interested in vibe coaching consultation, please email me at kingyesindeed@gmail.com. Let's find more personally tailored approach to your vibe. Yeah, I give one-on-one coaching. I can do group coaching through mind or vibe or mindset coaching classes. Until next time, people, check your vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. Yes, indeed.